In last video we have started chapter number 11, thermal properties of matter, and in the last topic we have seen what is a temperature. A temperature is a degree of hotness or coldness of a body, and always heat flows from higher temperature body to a lower temperature body, and we can say two bodies are thermally equilibrium when there is no flow of heat from one body to another body. And also we have seen when the body absorbs heat energy, then its temperature increases. Whenever a body loses heat energy, its temperature decreases. And according to kinetic theory of gases, temperature is a macroscopic quantity, while average translational kinetic energy of molecule is microscopic physical quantity of same temperature. So later we have seen the upper limit and lower limit of the temperature. Later we have seen scales of temperature, and in last video I think this was not clear, that's why I am displaying once again. In each question please pause the screen and write down once again if you did not feel comfortable in the last video. Okay, so see here there was a questions. This is a question number 1. Pause the screen and write down. This is a question number 2. Pause the screen and write down. Answer is C. And it is a question number 3. It is question number 4. It is question number 5. Yesterday all questions are over. This is question number 6. It is 7th question. It's 8th question. Question number 8. Please pause screen and write down. 2 questions I gave homework. This is the first question I have given as a homework. This is the second question which I have given as a homework. Okay. So now in my today's class I am dealing with the thermometry. What is this thermometry? As you know, the word metry is something related to the measurement. Okay. So here thermometry is nothing but measurement of, thermo means heat, measurement of heat. Therefore thermometry is a branch which deals with the measurement of temperature of a substance. Okay. Later, on what principle this thermometry based, or you know the clear cut differentiation. This is thermometry means a branch which deals. Okay. So whereas a thermometer, you know, meter is a device where metry is a branch. So thermometer means it is a device used to measure the temperature, and here in thermometry means measurement of temperature of a substance. So here to measure this temperature we are using a device called thermometer. This thermometer works on the principle that, so a physical quantity, that physical quantity may be pressure, that physical quantity may be volume, may be resistance, etc., changes linearly with the temperature. That is, change in a physical quantity, is directly proportional to change in the temperature, is a basic principle of our thermometry. And the physical properties which are used for this are called thermometric properties. That is, the property that can be used to measure the temperature. The properties that are used to measure the temperature are called thermometric properties. Okay, here the length may be taken as a thermometric property, volume is may be taken as a thermometric property, or pressure is taken as thermometric property, or resistance can also be taken as a thermometric property. Now see how to measure the temperature using thermometric property. Using thermometric property, how the temperature is measured. For that we have a formula. That is temperature T is equal to in bracket X may be any thermometric property. This X may be any thermometric property. That is, it may be length, it may be pressure, it may be volume, or it may be a resistance. It may be anything. Okay. So X at a temperature T minus X at lower fixed point. Same thing yesterday we have written. That is, yesterday we have seen reading on any scale minus lower fixed point divided by upper fixed point minus lower fixed point, that is constant. Okay, this was our yesterday's formula. Today also we are using the same. Reading on any scale. Instead of reading on any scale, we are writing reading at a temperature T minus lower fixed point, means reading at 0 degrees Celsius. You know, it is a temperature at which ice start to melt, divided by X suffix 100. It is like temperature that is 100 degrees Celsius, means upper fixed point, minus X naught. Okay, so this is a general formula to measure the temperature using thermometric property. So better pause the screen and note down this. Okay, multiplied by 100 degrees Celsius. Don't forget to write this. So this is our expression to measure the temperature using thermometric property. Okay, let's start one by one. We can write. Say, here we have different thermometers. First, constant volume gas thermometer. In this constant volume gas thermometer, pressure is used at constant volume. So here pressure is used to measure the temperature at constant volume. It means same. Here temperature T is given by pressure of a gas at T minus pressure at 0 degrees Celsius, that is at lower fixed point, divided by pressure at 100 degrees Celsius minus pressure at 0 degree Celsius multiplied by 100 degree Celsius will give you temperature. You know, here in this volume gas thermometer, gas is filled at high temperature and low pressure. Pressure must be low, but temperature is high. Here we know liquid thermometers like mercury. As compared to liquid thermometers, these gas thermometers are more sensitive. Gas thermometers are more sensitive than liquid thermometers because gas expands more than liquid. For a given rise in the temperature, gas expands more as compared to liquids, right? So next one is platinum resistance thermometer. Here it's a wrong. here platinum resistance thermometer, the temperature is written as, there it is wrong, resistance of a platinum at T°C minus resistance at 0°C divided by resistance at 100°C minus resistance at 0°C multiplied by 100°C. It is a platinum resistance thermometer. It's a platinum resistance thermometer. And in mercury thermometer, in platinum resistance thermometer, resistance is considered as a thermometric property. In mercury thermometer, length is taken as a thermometric property. In mercury thermometer, temperature is taken as T is equal to length of the mercury which is raised at T°C minus mercury level at 0°C divided by mercury raised at 100°C minus length of the mercury at 0°C into 100 will give you degrees Celsius. So these are the three expressions to measure the temperature. Okay, please pause the screen and write down. Okay, just I have taken pens, so that was a small disturbance there. Okay, now let's have one or two questions based on this. See, yesterday we have taken question number 10, today it's 11. See, a constant gas thermometer shows pressure reading of 50 centimeter and 90 centimeter of mercury at 0 degree and 100 degrees Celsius respectively. When pressure reading is 60 centimeter of mercury, the temperature is the question. Okay, see here, 50 centimeter at 0 degrees Celsius, 90 centimeter at 100 degrees Celsius. Means it is like a lower fixed point, it is like upper fixed point. So you can write this as L suffix 0 is equal to 50 centimeter, whereas L 100 is equal to 90 centimeter. Okay, then what is the pressure reading? Is 60 centimeter of mercury, temperature is, pressure reading is 60 centimeter pressure. So instead of length, means here expressing the height of the mercury. Height of the mercury will give you pressure using rho GH formula. That is a 60 centimeter. Then T is how much is the question. Then I can use this formula. T can be written as, this is 60 minus 50 divided by 90 minus P naught means it is 50 multiplied by 100 degree Celsius. You know, here 60 minus 50 is equal to 10, 90 minus 50 is 40 into 100. You know, this 1 0 1 0 get cancels. then 2 2s are 2 5s are 2 1s are 2 5s are. So finally I think it's a 25 degrees Celsius is the answer. 25 degrees Celsius means it is a option number 1, right? See, yes, answer is A. Next question number 12. Read. A constant pressure air thermometer gave a reading of 47.5 units of volume when immersed in ice cold water and 67 units in boiling liquid. The boiling point of liquid will be is the question. Okay. So constant pressure air thermometer gave a reading of 47.5 units of volume when immersed in ice cold water. See, ice cold water gives lower fixed point. Okay, so means minimum value, that is say reading at 0, that is a 47.5 and 67 units in boiling liquid. Boiling liquid will give you upper fixed point, like reading at 100 is equal to 67. The liquid boiling point of the liquid is, boiling point means that is at what temperature the liquid boils is the question. Here volume at constant pressure air thermometer gives a reading of 47.5 units of volume. Means here we are taking volume as a thermometric property. Volume as a thermometric property at constant pressure. So therefore here volume is given, temperature is asking, then I can use Charles law. V directly proportional to T, class. So V1 by V2 is equal to T1 by T2. Here I can say 67 by 47.5. This 67 is boiling point, that I want to calculate T1, divided by 47.5 is at melting ice. Here I should use Charles law, 273.5. Hope you can simplify. T1 is equal to, pause the screen and simplify. You get answer as C. So we get so many questions of this type, but for all questions method of solution remains same. These are the two methods by which we can solve any question. So next is thermal expansion. What is this thermal expansion? You know the word thermal. Thermal means something related to heat. Expansion means increase in the size. Increase in the size. It is found that whenever we provide heat energy to a body, then the size of the body increases. There is an increase in the size of the body. Size of the body increases. So this increase in the size of the body after heating is called thermal expansion. But question arises, why the bodies get expand after heating? For that, here we have a small animation. See, at absolute 0 Kelvin, means whenever there is no heat is given to the body, then all atoms or molecules are at rest. Hope it is visible to you. Okay, so all are at rest. For a minute, I'll put off light. You can see clearly. See, at 0 Kelvin, all are at rest. They are not at all moving. But whenever we give a small heat energy to the body, then the molecules or atoms of the body start to vibrate about their mean position. And look at the amplitude of vibration. Small, because increased temperature gives the molecule more energy, they begin to move. Whenever we provide heat energy, then they gain thermal kinetic energy. As a result, they start to vibrate about their mean position. In the third case, we have seen that whenever we increase more temperature, means higher is the temperature, then molecules are vibrating with more amplitude. Amplitude of vibration of the molecule increases. From these three, it's clear that whenever we provide heat energy to the body, the atoms and molecules start to vibrate. Because of the vibration of atoms or molecules of the body, the size of the body increases. That is called thermal expansion. Okay, so here you can see clearly all particles in a solid vibrates even when cold, but the amplitude is less. But when temperature increases, they vibrate with more amplitude. But look at the difference. Even when atoms or molecules are vibrating, there is no change in size of the atoms or molecules. See the size of the atom here and here. In both cases it remains same. Okay. Next, here because of the vibration, sometimes length increases, sometimes area increases, sometimes volume increases. Based on which physical quantity changes, whether volume changes or length changes or area changes. Based on this, we can classify the expansions in different types. First, I will go to linear expansion. As you know, linear means length. Expansion means increase. Here, whenever we provide heat energy to the body, if length of the body increases, then it is called linear expansion. Linear expansion means increase in the length of the body on heating. Okay. So in this example, it is given that consider a rod of length L0. Whenever it is heated, then length of the rod becomes this much. Earlier it was L0. After heating, this much length is increased. Here it is written as a delta L. Delta L is the increase in the length. Okay. So look at here. Now, assume for a minute L0 is the length of the rod at a temperature T0 and L is the length of the rod at a temperature T. It is found that increase in the length, change in the length of the rod is directly proportional to initial length and same increase in the length of the rod is also directly proportional to change in the temperature. Okay, so if I combine both, If I combine both, I can write delta L proportional to L naught into delta T. This is called as proportionality sign. And to remove this proportionality sign, we add a constant, that is delta L equal to constant into L naught into delta T. And today this constant is represented by alpha. Constant is represented by alpha. Therefore, delta L is equal to alpha into L naught into delta T. So this is an expression for change in the length of the rod after increase in the temperature. Okay, increase in the temperature. So according to this formula, I can say change means final length minus initial length is equal to alpha L naught into delta T. This also you can write it as T minus T naught. If I send it that side, L is equal to, after sending and simplifying, you can get 1 plus alpha into delta T. So this is a expression for final length of the rod on heating. Here remember this alpha. Alpha is called as, here alpha is nothing but coefficient of linear expansion. Coefficient of linear expansion. Coefficient of linear expansion. Okay, so today you have to remember this formula and this formula for calculation point of view. Okay, now this is same linear expansion, whatever here I have written, it is given here also. Please pause the screen and note down. Next, see, there are many effects due to linear expansion. One is because to avoid these effects of linear expansion, some initial cares are taken. For example, in theory we have studied such things more. That is, between two rails, a small gap is left between two rails. Suppose this is one rail, it is second rail. Between the two rails, there is a small gap. Why it is left? A small gap is left between the two rails. Answer is to avoid any kind of problems with linear expansion. That is, during summer, the metals get expanded. When they get expanded, there is no gap at all. They take this shape. Then the rails may get derailed. To avoid this, a small gap is left. And even after expansion, they will join, but they cannot get this shape. Okay, such things you have studied in theory. I don't want to go in detail. But I need the effects of linear expansion on simple pendulum and other examples. That is bimetallic strips. Bimetallic strips. About this I take in detail in taking problems. Whenever we take the two metals, say steel and brass, kept like this at room temperature, both have same length. When we heat, they takes a curve shape. It is because of different coefficient of expansion of steel and brass. Because of that, brass expanded more as compared to steel. As a result, they take curve shape. Okay, so these are all theory oriented. Even this question I can get in CET. Okay, now effect of temperature on time period of simple pendulum. This I will take in detail. Here time period T and temperature is also T. To avoid any confusions, here temperature is represented by theta. Okay, see here. So today assume to expand the time period of simple pendulum is equal to 2 pi under root of L by G. L by G. So we know that in our wall clock there is a pendulum here. This is made up of metal, it is also made up of metal. But since its size is small, there is no effect. But this has some length. Hence this can get expanded. Okay. So because of this, there may be change in the time period. How time period changes? For that, let's see. See, today I want to know how time period varies with the temperature. Here, there is no effect of temperature on 2 pi, no effect of temperature on G. Here, temperature will affect only length. Hence, here 2 pi and G, I will consider it as a constant. Okay. See, T is equal to say constant K under root of L, or T is equal to K L raised to half. You know very well, from units and measurement, I said how do you take the percentage change? That is percentage change or fractional change. This is called fractional change. Change divided by original is called fractional change. Is equal to power, what is the power here? Half into fractional change in length, that is delta L by L. Since we know that in previous heading we have seen delta L is equal to alpha L naught into delta T, where delta T is nothing but change in temperature. Here temperature is represented by theta, and here L naught is represented by L. So if I bring it this side, then delta L by L is equal to alpha into delta theta, right? Then you know percentage or fractional change in time period, delta T by T is equal to half. You know delta L by L is nothing but alpha into delta theta, where delta theta is the change in temperature, right? If you want the percentage change, to get the percentage change, multiply this equation by 100, you can get in percentage change. That is percentage change in time period can be written as half alpha delta theta into 100 will give you percentage change in the time period of simple pendulum. Here time period will change or increase, or percentage change in the time period will be more when alpha is more, or percentage of time period change is more when delta theta is more. Okay, as the temperature increases more and more, then percentage change in the time period also increases. As the time period increases, means day becomes longer. Okay, that I don't want to explain, that you can see in problems. So this is one point. So this kind of discussions, what happens when time period increases, what happens when time period decreases, etc., you can see in theory, right? So next is thermal stress in rigidly fixed rod. Thermal stress. My next point to be discussed is thermal stress. Actually, this stress, strain, etc. you are studying in mechanical properties of solids. There you studied stress. Stress means internal forces per unit area, and strain. Strain means change in the dimension. The dimension may be length, area, or volume. Say today I am taking length by original length. Change in the length by original length will give you longitudinal strain. And Young's modulus is taken as longitudinal stress divided by longitudinal strain. This basic information you need to study my today's thermal stress. What do you mean by this thermal stress? See, whenever a metallic rod is fixed in the rigid walls, if it is fixed in the rigid walls, see what happens whenever we heat, length of the rod increases. When length is increasing, these are the two rigid supports. That rigid supports will exert internal force. This force exerted by rigid walls on the rod will give you stress. That is called as thermal stress. Okay. So similarly, whenever it is cold, this is a rigid support like this. So when it is cold, then the rod gets contract. Means try to come out of this wall. The rod is trying to come out of the wall, but the wall do not allow the rod to come out. As a result, it will exert this force. So this is also called as a stress, that is thermal stress. Then how do we measure this thermal stress? And force exerted by the walls, or this force and this force are equal only. That you are going to know in mechanical properties of solids. Right now. So today we have to arrive the force expression. To arrive the force expression, I take this, that is stress into area. This area will be known. Today I want force. Area is known. I want stress. This stress is obtained in Young's modulus. That is stress by strain. So I want stress here. This is known. To get stress, I need strain. Therefore, first I should write strain. That strain should be substituted here. You get a stress. That stress, if I substitute, I can get force experienced by the rod due to temperature. Okay. So first I'll go to thermal stress. Sorry, I should go for thermal strain. Thermal strain is equal to change in length divided by original length. And just now we have seen this change in length by original length is nothing but alpha into delta T, where alpha is called as coefficient of linear expansion, delta T is the change in the temperature. Okay, so about this. Then I should go for Young's modulus. Young's modulus is written as, since it is an increase in the length, therefore I can say longitudinal stress divided by longitudinal strain. Longitudinal strain. So this I can write y is equal to longitudinal stress is nothing but force per unit area. Longitudinal strain is alpha into delta T. If you substitute and simplify, see F by A is equal to Y alpha into delta T, or we want force. Force is equal to Y Young's modulus into area of cross section of the rod. This area of cross section of the rod, coefficient of linear expansion into delta T. So this is our expression for thermal force on the rod fixed in the rigid walls. This is the expressions if you can mention. Okay, please note down this. Okay, so after this linear expansions, next we have to go for areal expansion, volume expansion, then relation between the coefficients of linear, areal and volume expansions. Then we can go for questions. I think one more video I need to finish this heading. Later we can go for calorimetry. Okay, we'll meet in next video.